Hello, my name is Donna Laake, and I'm running for re-election as president of Norwood City Council. Before we start talking about the issues in this election, I'd like to share a story with you. Back in February, on one of the coldest days of the year, our heating system started leaking. We have a boiler in our home instead of the usual gas forced air furnaces found in most Norwood homes. It's a little tricky working on boilers. So when we saw the water slowly leaking out of our system, we contacted a company that we had used in the past. They knew the system, and we felt confident that they were the best one to make the repairs and to make sure that we had proper heat in our home. We didn't want to take a chance of having someone come to our home who had never seen our system before and maybe really didn't even know boilers. So after contacting that company, they responded the next day, made the repairs, and restored the heat to our home. And so right about now, you're probably asking yourself, what does this have to do with the election? Well, as you know, Norwood is in the midst of a fiscal emergency. Our budget needs repairs, just like my boiler did. And just like my boiler, I believe that the city of Norwood needs someone with experience, with a history of working with and for the city to make these repairs, not someone who has never seen the budget before. So in other words, experience matters. I've been the president of council for the last 3 terms, and prior to that, I served 1 term as the council representative for Ward 3. I know how the city operates, know the legal guidelines for establishing a sound financial recovery plan. And in my role as president of council, by law, I serve as a voting member of the Financial Planning and Supervision Commission that is charged with overseeing the city's financial recovery. I actually serve not only as a member of that commission, but as the vice chair and of the secretary of that commission at the request of the other 6 members. I have a history of working with the other members to oversee our finances and to provide some information as much as I can. I do this not only at the commission meetings, but I act as a liaison between council and the commission, keeping each one informed of the activities of the other. But my experience goes beyond my current terms of president of council. I was the former health commissioner for Norwood for 15 years, overseeing a department that stayed within the budget each year that I was at the helm. I responded to many of your calls about problems that you were experiencing, and that's what I like to do best, help problem solve and respond to citizen complaints. Ask the gentleman on Washington Avenue who had a hole develop in his front yard, and he'd been trying to get a hold of somebody for weeks to come and take a look at it. He made a call to me, and within 24 hours, someone from Public Works responded and went down and resolved the problem for this gentleman. Or ask another gentleman who lives on Quatman Avenue, who, as he was on his way to work every day, noticed that the right turn only sign was down on Norwood Avenue and Wesley Avenue. He had contacted the city on a number of occasions and tried to get the sign put back up, and he witnessed many people going straight through on the right turn only lane. I saw his complaints on Facebook, and I just simply responded, "I'll take care of it." And I did. Within 24 or 48 hours, not only was the sign put back up, but the arrows were painted as well. But we still have a lot of work to do. My first priority will be to oversee a sound financial recovery and to assist in writing policies and procedures that will help prevent this fiscal emergency from ever happening again. My next priority will be to develop a plan and financing for a comprehensive street repair program. We all know how awful it is to drive down some of our Norwood streets because we've not had the money to maintain them for a number of years. The Norwood Republicans have published a 10-year comprehensive plan for replacing, repairing, and maintaining our streets. And that includes an independent evaluation of which streets should be considered and addressed first. We then need to have discussions with our citizens about how to finance these repairs but only after we get our own house in order. I'm also committed to find funding, be it from grants or from corporate sponsorships, to improve the park systems. We have many wonderful parks in Norwood, and volunteers have helped us to paint and upgrade them over the past few months. My neighbors and I painted the shelter house at Northwoods Park last year, planted flowers and trees throughout the park, and we have other upgrades planned for 2018. We need these types of improvements to be made in every one of our parks, and thanks to the many volunteers who have gone out and helped us so far. As an original member of the Norwood Tree Board, I've witnessed the greening up of Norwood by the planting of trees in all of the parks, along city streets, and near the schools. Last year, thanks to a generous donation from Mr. Shepard of Shepard Chemical, we were able to plant about 50 trees in Northwoods Park, Marsh Park, and Fenwick Park. Just last weekend, we planted additional trees in Burwood Park, Hunter Park, and Victory Park, as well as on Station Avenue along the side of the Norwood Middle School. And we hope to continue these tree plantings and the greening up of Norwood through the Norwood Tree Board. I've also worked with the Norwood City Schools representatives to obtain grants from the Safe Routes to School program to make improvements around our schools. Look for speed humps, improved crosswalks, and signage at Williams Avenue Elementary in the spring. And there will also be improved crosswalks and signage at all of our schools and along the routes that our children walk. These improvements will help to keep our children safer as they go to and from school. I'm also involved in the Norwood community as a 35-year member of the Norwood Business and Professional Women's Club, an organization dedicated to public service in Norwood. You've probably seen me at the entrance gate to Coney selling admission tickets on Norwood Day, or perhaps doing a video of the activities taking place at Coney throughout that day. I've also narrated the Norwood Day Parade for a number of years, and a hometown event that's one of a kind. And these are just some examples of my involvement in the community. I'm a registered nurse by profession for over 45 years, but I recently retired from a local children's hospital. So I will be available to work full-time on your behalf. So when you go to the polls this November the 7th, remember my story about the boiler. Remember that experience really does matter, and I am uniquely qualified to provide that experience to keep our city great. I ask for your support to continue as your president of Norwood City Council. Thank you.